Alex, welcome to the Beazley Bowler broadcast. We're talking about AI and everything AI, agentic AI and everything else. What are the likely consequences of agentic AI entering into the cyberspace?
Well, thank you for having me. And we were worried that agentic AI, so having AI agents that autonomously cruise around your digital estate as a company and carry out tasks, was manipulable by bad actors. And actually what we've seen is that there hasn't been so much of that at the kind of criminal level, but the state bad actors are definitely doing that. We've seen states very much focused on this. However, what we're getting is a lot of open source AI agents that are downloadable. So we've got the new OpenClaw. OpenClaw is a way of coordinating agents that is downloadable from open source. They've got 2 million active users these days, and that presents a real risk because individuals are inviting a system into their personal digital estate and getting it to do all sorts of tasks for them, shopping, etc. But that system is a repository of a lot of personal data. Yeah.
How does a malicious actor from outside get at it?
So there's two things they can do. One, or three actually. So poisoning the data means feeding in erroneous data. It trains on data, right, and it's going to train on erroneous data. They can also prompt inject. So what we call malicious prompt injection. So that looks like is a message to the agent, which to you and I looks like gobbledygook, but actually can get it to do stuff that you wouldn't want it to do. The best engineers can get even some of the hyperscaler, so Microsoft, AWS, Google agents to do bad things. And the hyperscalers are investing a lot of money in protecting their agents from prompt injection.
What about from a hacker's point of view, from a cybersecurity point of view? If I was a hacker, I would be using them to find the vulnerabilities.
It started by being the case that AI helped the defenders. So it helped the defenders standardize the coding and standardize their defenses. And it helps you, as you say, with penetration testing. Then we moved into a situation where, and we saw Chinese state teams seemed to be using a penetration testing agent or asking an agent to do penetration testing, but what they were really doing was to try and find vulnerabilities in order to mount a campaign at scale.
Currently, who's winning?
So that depends on where you are in the ecosystem. If you are a startup, you may not have the resources to safeguard your agents. They may be more vulnerable to criminals.
Yes, and actually on that point about the agent, it's your own agent being misled and misused by an external malicious actor. Is there any real defense against that?
Normally, every model has what's known as guardrails, and guardrails often are basically a filter. So when a prompt comes in, there's a moment where that is filtered and checked for sense. Is this a prompt that is reasonable? Is it actually designed to prompt our agent to do bad things?
Right. So within the design, there should be something that really looks at the prompts and says, well, for one, the one that's all complete coding gobbledygook, we should probably ignore that one because...
Correct. And so there's a kind of filter going in, i.e. what prompts are being asked of the model, and then there's a filter going out to see, what is the model actually recommending. And the bigger models all have these to varying degrees of effectiveness.
I was reading about something called excessive agency. First, can you explain to me what that is?
So excessive agency is where we are giving tasks to an agent and giving it excessive permissions. So allowing it to be free about what it does, because we don't want to constrain it, we want it to be effective, but then it sometimes overdoes that, and it interacts with other agents that we didn't foresee. It does tasks that we didn't foresee. In all of this, we're going to go through a period where policy, as in internal company policy, is going to have to catch up with where AI has got to. And one of our suggestions is that every sizable company should have, at the exec board level, a kind of senior responsible officer on AI who could bang heads together and make sure that the policies are right for the entire organization, so that you don't get people adopting into their digital environment AI agents that have got too much agency.
Yes, it's just doing it going off and doing far too much and stuff that you had not foreseen that it might go and do.
Yeah, and key to all of this will be kind of identity certification. If you think about these agents, so they're going to, at a personal level, an agent's going to have your credit card details, it's going to know everything about you, it's going to have access to your schedule, and then it's going to, while you're sleeping, it's going to interact with, I don't know, the travel agent or whatever it is, and you're going to really want to know that it is interacting only with bona fide partners. So the certification, the moment of the handshake between one agent and another, because it might not be another person, is going to be super important. And that's an area I predict that in the coming months we'll really have to drill down on. There will be, assuredly, there will be moments when things go wrong, and then we'll learn from those mistakes.
There's going to be the legality and about what permission have I really given it.
Yeah.
And have I given it permission for my agent to talk to your agent to book the flight to Australia and the hotels and the trip?
Correct. Historically, typically in the States, class actions brought because of a bit of corporate negligence around perhaps AI really shape the landscape and shape how people design and how people might make agents auditable by design. So a CISO or a chief data officer could tell at any moment what any agent that touches his or her company's systems is doing, what kind of accreditation it's gone through. So the US class actions are a real shaper in this. Equally, at the other end of the spectrum, you'll get the EU Commission. Remember that they went early with their EU AI Act, and they've sort of rescinded bits of it, and they're reshaping that. And what they're moving towards more is future legislation, which is going to be informed by testing of different agents. The UK has done very well with setting up its new its AI Security Institute, where they have managed to persuade some of the larger companies in the world to test their agents with them before release.
We talk about agentic AI, but yes, these agentic real things.
Yes.
So first will be cars.
Look, we're in a taxi now. Very soon, in fact, in September, London will have autonomous vehicles. We've got Waymo coming. We've got our own AV startup Wave that is already going through London. And what they will tell you is that an autonomous vehicle driving through London is 11 times less likely to have a crash than a human because they're just much more consistent.
Wow. So that's what's coming.
Yes. So cars, it's coming now. We're going to be really used to them. I've been in a Wave vehicle actually, and 3 minutes into the drive, you think you've been doing that forever. If these vehicles can deal with really complex environment, like we see, out of our window, London is as tough as it gets. If they could do that, and they could do Tokyo, which they've proven, then that's coming. In this year, we will start to get used to that. We're going to see a lot more of embodied AI, where AI meets robotics. China has a long advance in factory level AI. They call them dark factories, meaning factories where you don't need to keep the lights on because everything is done by robots. We're now getting to the point where you can imagine, in fact, you can almost see robots enabled by AI able to watch a video of a production line and then replicate it.
Wow. Are there any other systemic risks there?
I think the systemic risks might be around the supply chain. So what you do notice is the whole of the bottom end of the robotics supply chain is basically sourced in China. That is something that will need to change because you can't have all your servo motors, all your actuators, all coming from one country. And I think that you could start to see European and also American voices saying, no, we need a bit more of that here. And I think that will happen.
More sort of partly economic nationalism, but also just pragmatic security.
Yeah, exactly that.